The big takeaway from the weekend, not game specific, but overall big takeaway from last week.
We're still a work in progress. Got to keep improving. Our approach is the same, regardless of result. We want to focus on the things that we did well that we can build on, and the things that we need to improve and try to correct them and fix them so we continue to get better.
Do I hear a little bit of a cold?
Yeah, maybe a little. I guess I gotta get a little more sleep.
All right. So from the Nebraska game to the Mississippi State game, Tomasov was able physically to handle both of those big teams. Obviously, I'm curious the physicality part of it, how much you feel that played into the Nebraska game, if at all. Because I know they were an outside shooting team anyway, so maybe it wasn't as much. But I'm curious how you guys handled the two big teams.
Yeah, I think we certainly tried to emphasize the need to be physical, not just Tomislav, but everybody across the board. I think that's more of a by committee thing for us. Like, it's not one person's job. I know Tomislav got the 20 rebounds, but it's sort of a collective effort for us. We have to do it collectively. I don't think that's a reasonable ask of us of Tomislav to do that every single night. It's nice that he's capable, but we have to collectively play with a lot of physicality all the time, right? Like, I thought we did a decent job of that relative to opponent, and but that has to be the standard for us, right? We had to carry that over and make sure that comes with us regardless of who we're playing.
And then the offense, the outside shooting and the spacing, all that kind of stuff on offense. I'm curious if we're measuring it in numbers or percentages, like, you're not where you want to be yet, but did you guys take step forwards offensively, you feel, this in Kansas City over the two games?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think we had more unguarded catch and shoot opportunities in those two games than we had in the previous 4 games combined. So that's a good sign for us. We're confident in our ability to shoot the basketball. So that'll come. It's more about process. If we continue to get a high volume of open shots for the right guys, then that stuff will work itself out.
And then the Dayton situation, you guys already addressed and handled the discipline. I'm curious mindset-wise where he's at after the Mississippi State game. I mean, he returned. He was obviously very aggressive in that game, but he's had a few days to digest it now. Where's his mindset at? Where's Dayton at kind of with what happened in the Nebraska game?
Yeah, I think Dayton's doing a good job. Obviously a tough situation, not ideal. He knows he made a mistake there, and I thought that he had a professional approach in his response and just kind of focused on the basketball. And I think now that we're home, we're kind of back in the routine, and I think he's able to kind of continue that. And we'll see him on Wednesday, and expect him to play well.
With guys like Uriah and Jake, I mean, the stat sheet doesn't look like, they're true freshmen. But at the end of the day, they're still in their first month of college basketball. So they've proven that they can score. But as, they continue to get more minutes, continue to have more big-time opportunities, what's the biggest thing that you kind of hope to see that they develop in their games?
There's a lot of things for both of them where they're going to improve. I think it's different for each. They're different players. So, I think Jake has the ability to rebound the ball better than he has so far. I think some things defensively for Jake are areas where he can continue to improve, and he's working. I think he's still understanding different times where obviously he's getting high volume of threes up, but there's more to his game than just catch and shoot. Like, Jake's a pretty well-rounded offensive basketball player, so I think he's still finding different times when to be aggressive off the bounce, when to make plays for other people. Those are things that I think will materialize in his game. Uriah is doing a good job with his activity defensively. I think his steal rate's in a pretty good place. He competes. He plays with a lot of physicality. I mean, he's in foul trouble most nights because he's sticks his nose in there pretty consistently. And I think, but for offensively for him, I think his shoot pass decisions, end of drives, his efficiency from two, I think those are areas that are going to make a big jump as he just gets more reps. I think they both have a lot of room to grow. Like, they're playing good basketball and they're good players, but I think they're both just scratching the surface.
And then Thomas Love added to that mix. I know he doesn't really count, but when you have 3 freshmen that are averaging in double figures, how much do you kind of see those 3 guys just like feed off each other, and how much energy do you feel like it gives just the team when you have 3 freshmen doing what they're doing?
Yeah, and we talk a lot about them being freshmen, but all these guys are kind of new for us, and so honestly, it doesn't even we don't really think about that. I don't think about them like, oh, they're freshmen. They're just part of our team, and they're important pieces. And I think our entire team, feeds off the success of each other. I think we have a group that roots for each other. I like the kind of the vibes in the locker room. I think our guys fit well together, and so I think all of that stuff is in a good place, and I think that's important as you go through season with lots of ups and downs. If you can stay in that kind of middle ground and consistently, and then try to just focus on the things that matter, then your team can improve quite a bit.
Sticking with the freshman theme, typically a guy that was in high school just a few months ago is more worried about who's going to do his laundry, being homesick, missing home cooking, things like that. But Jake and Uriah specifically don't look like a typical freshman. They don't act like a typical freshman. Is that the mindset they just brought with them when they got here? Like, where does that come from those two?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're both mature young guys, and I think they have mature games, and I think it starts with just their focus and drive. Like, they're competitive guys who really work. Like, I think that's the part that gives us a lot of confidence. We talk about the shooting and the shot making or lack thereof to this point, but seeing the way those guys approach every day, seeing the work that they put in, there's a lot of confidence in what's coming for them because of the way they work and the way they approach the game. And so I think they have a mature mindset, a mature approach to this, and both came here prepared to impact college basketball.
And as far as logistics for your team, we've seen you play well offensively. We've seen you shoot a lot of threes, maybe force a game down low. We've seen you play defensively well. And you talked about good teams learn how to win in different ways. Like, what is the identity of this team? Is it going to be a defensive team? Is it going to be a catch and shoot team? What specifically are you, and what's the best way for this team to move forward?
Yeah, I think for us it's going to start defensively. I mean, that's where we've been ahead on that side of the ball, and I think that's a place where we need to continue to improve as well. There's a lot of areas on that side that we feel like we can continue to get better. I think as a coaching staff, we're still understanding our group and figuring out which schemes make the most sense against which opponents for our team. We still have a limited number of opportunities so far to evaluate some of that stuff. So we're in most of the games so far, or I wouldn't say most, but several of the games we've maybe gone into the game thinking, we're going to play more of this coverage or this defense, and that's changed throughout. So I think as we dial in exactly what works for us in each scenario, we're going to continue to improve on that end of the floor. And I think that's the end of the floor that can, we talk about both sides of the ball being connected. If we can be good defensively and we can get stops, we've been pretty good in transition at times. If we put the ball in the basket, then we get to set our defense. I think in the Nebraska game, we were, I don't remember the exact numbers, but we were excellent defensively when they had to take it out of the net. So after made baskets, we had a ton of stops. But so those things are connected. But for us, it starts defensively. That should fuel what we're doing offensively with some of the transition. And then if we can be efficient offensively, it'll go back and help us defensively.
Coach, finalizing Dayton's trip, he seemed kind of like in a little bit of a funk that first half of the second game, and then you've got to be real pleased with the way he pulled out of it and showed a lot of leadership qualities.
Yeah, I mean, Dayton's an experienced player, and I thought he handled a difficult situation as well as he could after the fact. Obviously, he created that difficult situation, but I I thought he handled that as well as he could, given the circumstances, and showed some maturity after an immature decision. Showed some maturity in his reaction, and played well in the second half. And he's a good basketball player. The basketball part is something that'll take care of itself here. I think he's got a good approach. He's got a good mindset. He's a great person. We believe in him as a player and a person, and we think he'll continue to play well, and we expect him to represent us in the right way going forward.
What do you know about Alabama State at this point? You still have a lot of film, video to look at?
Yeah, we've watched quite a bit. Athletic team, 2 really good guards that are really high usage in different ways. Anderson really gets to the basket. I think he's shooting maybe 7 free throws a game. Both those guys scoring 16, 17 points a game. Simpson's more from 3. He's not missing any kind of catch and shoot. Like, if he has time and space, like those he's been making those at a really high rate early in the season. So we got to limit those opportunities. They got a really good win at UAB. They've had some good performances, and when those 2 guys get going, they're a dangerous basketball team.
Do you compare the guards a little to Mississippi State's guards?
Mississippi State had, both those guys shot it off the dribble a little bit more than the 2 here from Alabama State. But in terms of the usage being kind of centralized in those 2 players, there's some similarities.
And what's the plan for Thanksgiving? Do the guys get the day off or come in and practice at night, or how do you run that?
We'll have the day off. We have the team over to our house for Thanksgiving, so we're trying to get ready for that too. Yeah, it is a lot of food.
Just one for me. So, I mean, coming off, 2 major conference teams, you're coming home day before Thanksgiving against, a team not quite to the caliber that you have been playing. So I'm just curious, how do you just make sure you guys don't take your foot off the gas?
Yeah, I mean, that would be really disappointing if we had any kind of thoughts about that, because, we're so far from a finished product. We have so much work to do that, we should be embracing every opportunity to compete and improve. And so I think our guys are in a good place with that focus, and, expect them to be ready to go on Wednesday.
I guess we haven't really just specifically asked, is the Dayton Uriah thing, was that a 1-game starting lineup change, or might that be something you do going forward?
We're planning to start Dayton on Wednesday.
Okay. I did want to ask about Javis Miller not really finding his footing yet, it seems like. Is that something that you can kind of pinpoint as to maybe why he hasn't really fit in and gotten consistently good minutes with you guys yet?
Well, I mean, I think he has shown at times, like, he's had some games where he's played well, but I don't think it's specific to Javis. I think we're trying to help several guys find some consistency. I feel like JT Rock's making a little progress in that. Kevin gave us good minutes in the Mississippi State game after not playing against Nebraska. So we're still, kind of working out the back end of the rotation and trying to figure out exactly who fits best with which group and who can help us. And, sometimes that's different based on opponent. Sometimes that's more about us, so it's a little bit of a work in progress there for sure.
We kind of touched on it, and of course I'm going to come back to it, but lot of food, like what's on the menu?
It's a long list on the menu. We had a few specific requests. I think T did a little survey for the guys of like, hey, what do you want? What are your favorites? I know there was a sweet potato pie request, but we got a really long menu with plenty of food. So there's all the traditional, Thanksgiving staples in there.
All right, but this isn't a you guys are cooking it kind of thing. You guys are gonna have to cater this one with that many people, right?
Yeah, we're getting a little help with that.
Okay.
We don't have the kitchen for that because we have our whole group. I think even we have some players who have family coming in town. They're going to join us. I think we're expecting 40 plus people. So we don't quite have the kitchen for cooking for 40.
All right. Well, in that said, though, what's your go-to every year? Like, does your family have a dish you go to, or you personally from childhood that you just have to have every Thanksgiving?
Just kind of the staples, you know what I mean? Like all the traditional Thanksgiving staples, are turkeys, dressing, stuffing. I'm trying to think what else on the mac and cheese, green bean casserole. We have all of it. So
do you attack it like analytically? Like, I need this percentage of stuffing.
I eat completely by feel.
Okay, all right, that's by feel.
No numbers in the food.
Where's the media sit?
Where's our
We'll bring some to go for the.
Anything else for Coach? All right, appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.